The Hikikomori. In order to understand them and their relation to Gen Z, we need to understand everyone's favorite nation, Japan. But we don't just need to understand modern Japan. We gotta go all the way back to the 80s. Japan is popping they for everyone. At this point in time, Japan is manufacturing the world's most sought after and favorited technology. VHS recorders, Sony's Walkman, cars, bitch. You ever heard of Honda? Nintendo and Sega are giving us some, how good are these games? Amazing. In this era, Japan is cementing themselves as an exporting powerhouse. And with all the business they're generating from manufacturing in tandem with the artificial weakening of the dollar at the time, the yen naturally begins to appreciate in value. Foreign investments are starting to look a lot more attractive now because they're relatively cheap thanks to the strength of the yen. Their central bank also kept interest rates low, providing another tailwind to Japan's growth. Everybody is excited about the future of the Japanese economy. They're putting their money in real estate, they're putting their money in the stock market. And of course, whenever there's excitement about an investment opportunity, you know lenders got to get involved, bro. They have to. It's a rule of life. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me clearly. It is never enough just to double your money in the casino, in the stock market. You need to quintuple that shit with leverage. What the fuck is leverage? Dead. Creditors are giving people and businesses more money to invest even more money into the stock market and real estate. Everything is sunshine and rainbows and edging in the car pocket bucket and beppo. But the Central Bank of Japan sees how hot these asset prices are and fears broader systemic inflation. So to fight that, they raise interest rates. This was the second biggest mistake ever made in Japan's history. When they raised interest rates, there wasn't enough money to go around to continue borrowing money to buy these extremely inflated assets. So the stock market and the real estate market tanked at the same time. Japan also suffered a credit crunch as the banks and lenders made bets that borrowers would be able to pay them back using the proceeds from their investments. Not only could they not do that, but the collateral that backed the borrowed money was fucking worthless. From the 1990s to the 2010s, Japan would go through an economic slowdown coined as the lost decades, which was of course accompanied by the employment ice age where nobody was hiring. The lost generation was a result of all of this. The lost generation were recent college graduates that were barred from economic opportunity for the foreseeable future. A third of them ended up becoming Hikikomori, or someone that is recluse and has retreated from society. I think that this is Gen Z's future. When I learned about Japan's economic downturn, it struck a chord with me. The US and Japan are both developed nations that have had experience with financial bubbles and credit crunches. Also, the lost generation dealing with the unemployment ice age for recent graduates reminded me of the numerous US headlines discussing the frozen job market for recent graduates. Many people in the lost generation had to take up gig work or live with their parents for financial support, which is very common amongst our generation. The point is, I think there's a lot of points of comparison and commonality to analyze the trajectory of Gen Z using Japan's lost generation as an example. Now, you also got to keep in mind that the lost generation is comprised of super unks. I'm talking about people in their 40s. These people became Hikikomori. They were burnt out from the job search. They probably felt like they couldn't truly find themselves. They never got the chance to be the person that they truly wanted to be. Never had the resources, so they stayed to themselves. And because of the importance placed on an early career, we're susceptible to the same type of burnout and social shutdown. Deadass, walk with me. Genuinely think about how much of our lives are for positioning us to get a corporate job. Motherfucker, I'm 21 and I started preschool at 4. I have been in school for 17 years, bitch. 81% of my life has been directed towards getting a job. Nigga, of course I'm gonna place a lot of weight on my ability to find a job when assessing my identity. People spend all this fucking money for a college degree so that they can get a job. How you pay your motherfucking bills will always be central to your identity for 2 motherfucking reasons. The bills ain't going away and you spend a lot of time doing that activity. There's also obviously a social burden that comes with being unemployed. Laugh at me all you want, but I think we need to destigmatize unemployment and underemployment. Deadass, walk with me. No matter what your situation is, you are always blamed if you are unemployed or underemployed. You're not doing enough. You're the problem. Maybe try harder. Fuck you. Looking for a job fucking sucks super dicks, bro. When I was on the job search, it was like everything I was doing that wasn't related to the job search was just a complete waste of time. It made me feel like shit every single day for doing normal things, for doing things that I liked. Nigga, for going to the gym. I felt bad for going to the gym. And like going through this period, it was so difficult for me because like I had the internship experience, I had the interview skills, I had the network, but they always only had one spot and I was always so fucking close. I would wake up, get 20 rejection emails, the next day 20 more. Senior year was filled with so much fucking stress because there were fucking like no opportunities anywhere. Like I felt so shitty and so sad and so not like myself. I didn't want to get up and like go enjoy my day. Motherfucker, it got to a point I thought that going to class was a waste of time. And obviously there was a part of me that externalized this frustration with my friends and things of that nature. But the externalization I did of that job hunt, of the fucking dread I felt during that job hunt, was only like a fraction of what I actually felt. Dead ass. Searching for a job in 2025 and in 2026 was the worst experience of my life. Thank fuck that I don't have to do that shit anymore. That was such an emotionally draining time. And bro, I think I'm the person with one of the strongest wills there are in the world, bro. And if that could break me down, if that job hunt can break me down, I understand the Hikikomoris. I get you, bro. That shit sucks. It's terrible. And the worst part is that the longer you're searching for the job, the worse it gets. If there's one thing recruiters hate more than just resumes in general, it's resumes with the job gaps. It's resumes where you're expected to stay with the company for longer and you didn't. Holy shit. The best way to address this and any other bullshit question that spawns in relation to a topic like that is to give a short and sweet response and act like it's no big deal. I hate that there's a stigma around job gaps and things like that because the stigma is rarely justified. Most people just end up unlucky and go without a source of income. Most of the time it is not any fault of their own. It's just the invisible hand of market forces at play. But I digress. Two things scare me the most when it comes to the job market. The first thing is that the Federal Reserve doesn't act quick enough to provide support to the labor market because of inflationary pressures. We are currently in the midst of a stagflationary environment with unemployment and inflation trending in the same direction. It also doesn't help that Donald Trump is waging a war in one of the most important geographic locations of the last century. The whole reason people voted Donald Trump in the first place is because the job market was shit. And I'm genuinely worried that the Federal Reserve will keep interest rates steady until this war is 100% over. God willing, they will not raise interest rates to combat inflation. We need interest rate cuts and we need them now. The second thing I'm worried about is, of course, a market crash. So God help me if the AI investment bubble bursts prematurely, I will end my life. Even though the billions and billions of dollars of investment is pretty contained within the chip manufacturers and the motherfuckers building out AI data centers and people like that, if this fails, the stock market suffers. Lenders don't get their money back. Businesses have to fire people to make up for the money that they wasted on AI solutions. We go into another credit crunch and Gen Z becomes the US's lost generation. The Hikikomori is a warning sign as to what we should expect if this unemployment and underemployment crisis continues for longer. People suffer from burnout by not being able to pay the bills in the way that they want to while also trying to find themselves. The traditional systems of building an identity don't work anymore because we barely have the opportunity to get started. So I think the solution is to find other things to build your identity around. And I know that is a revolutionary idea, but I think that hobbies are going to play an outsized role in keeping us sane and not burned out. A hobby that really pushes you to want to improve, that allows you to see your progress and efforts pay off. I want that hobby to serve as a constant reminder that you are capable, that you know how to grind, that you can achieve results. The job market right now is in a historically shitty place. I genuinely believe that unless you have a mental disability, everyone is capable of doing the job, no matter what that job is. It is within our human nature to want to work hard and understand things in order to get better at them. Please do not lose hope. Keep the positive mindset. You gotta keep a strong mental, bro. Keep that dog in you. Have a mind that is a steel fucking trap. If it means anything at all, I genuinely believe in you, bro. Keep networking, keep grinding, keep finding ways to improve. I'm low-key like sweating a little bit. That got kind of like tense. Anyways, like the video, watch more videos, enjoy. Have a great day. Peace, peace.